Greetings, West Valley NAACP friends and family. I'm Aisha Graves, the president of the West Valley NAACP, and I'm super excited to bring you the first of many informational videos. We have gathered our committees together, all of our chairs, and they are going to bring you some information, hopefully that's beneficial for you and our community, about some resources and information that we can use really to grow stronger together. So sit back, enjoy this video, get a peek of the families that are behind the West Valley NAACP, and also take a little bit of time to celebrate some Black love with these couples that you'll be meeting today. I'll be back.
Hello, welcome to the West Valley NAACP. We got some Black love in here at the Jenkins home. So we just want to talk about how we all came together, how we decided to get involved with a much needed organization in the West Valley. My name's Audrey Bell Jenkins, and I am the second vice president of the West Valley NAACP. And I was excited when I found out that there was going to be a chapter in the West Valley. So I immediately told my husband about it, and I'll let him tell you his response.
Hi, my name is Xavier Jenkins. I am the health chair for the West Valley NAACP. I was very happy when my wife made it known to me that there was going to be a chapter opening up in the West Valley. We, were both very excited about that, and we already knew, both of us, without even saying anything to each other, that that's something that we want to be a part of, want to find out more about, and so here we are.
Yes, and my husband, he's a licensed mental health counselor, substance abuse counselor, family counselor, so we knew that that would be a need for the organization. I do social work, I'm a social worker, workforce development, and just wanted to be involved. And, we just knew that we would meet some great people along the way, as you can see. So here we have our Bishop over here. So Bishop, tell them a little bit about you and what you thought about when you heard about the NAACP and the
My name is Bishop Anthony Holt. I'm the third vice president of the newly formed West Valley NAACP. I grew up in the NAACP back in Detroit. I was in the NAACP in the youth chapter when I was in the teenager. Benjamin Hooks was our president at that time back in the 70s and 80s. So I grew up in, the NAACP has always been a very formatted or a very foundational organization within my family and then within my heart. So when we found out that there was one coming to the West Valley, there was nothing but to say, hey, let's get it done. Since I've been in this organization and with these great people that I'm working with, my wife and I have found a lot of ability to show forth our everyday structure, like you said, with social work. And I also am a licensed mental health and substance abuse counselor. I've been in the church for about 30 years. I'm an overseer for several churches out here in the Valley. And things that we constantly kept hearing was social injustice, criminal injustice, school injustice. So this was an opportunity for us to really get in there and say, hey, what can we do to better our community and fill a void that our community had. And one of the things our community had in West Valley was no representation. So being with the NAACP gave us the opportunity to come in and say, hey, now we got a place that we can really put forth the effort to help our people be a better group.
So you was right on board with him, Ms. Brenda?
I was the one that told him about it.
Okay.
So yes, so I was on board with it. Well, I had been affiliated with the other two branches, but realizing that there was nothing in the West Valley when it came about, it was time to jump on board. So yes, my name is Brenda Holt. I am on the health committee. I am also the interim state director of community outreach for AARP. That lends itself into the work that I'm doing in the African American community as far as my outreach. So this is a perfect setting for us. It is a perfect way for us to make moves and enhance the lives of those we serve. So that's why I'm here.
Excellent, excellent. And then we have, unfortunately, I know this committee is working like every day, but it's great that we have, it just forms so easy when everything just falls into place to have a great criminal justice chair. Mr. Farmer.
My name is Larnell Farmer, and I am the chairperson for the Criminal Justice Committee. And I'm relatively new to the Valley, been here about 7 years. And then what I'm seeing seems like each day as it goes forward, the more and more like Bishop was saying, the need for this organization. And, you turn on the TV and there's always something going on. And it seems like every part of this organization can do something for each other. It all blends itself into one thing. Exactly, exactly. So
what makes you such a great criminal justice chair, though?
Well, I'm a retired police officer.
Okay.
And that's what got me to the Valley.
Yeah.
I retired from the police department back in Waukegan, Illinois. And I was there for 23 years.
Wow.
And so what happened when I retired, I started seeing, I don't want to say differences with the police, but I guess I'm looking at things from a different angle now. And I'm really passionate about what's going on in the police world. Because a lot of times we hear, this thing about the good police officers that are out there. Well, my thing now is I often hear is that the good police officers are out there, why do we have some bad things happening within police departments? So I'm really, really passionate about that thing, and I've lost a lot of co-workers and, get in arguments and stuff with people like that. But that's beyond me now, because I think, again, as the NAACP, especially with this group, because we're back where I came from, the NAACP, it was nothing like this. They didn't do anything. And within this last 5 or 6 months, we've done so much. We're out there, people are hearing about us, starting to contact us. And so what makes this group, to me, is the group that we're working with, because everybody's passionate about what they're doing. We're involved in the NAACP, and we're out there making things happen. And I see it only getting better as time goes on. So I like being here. I like, as they say, putting the hands to the plow, getting to work. And I think we're going to do some great things in this side of the valley. And as we were talking earlier, with the valley, West Valley rather, growing like it is,
Right.
it's going to bring more concerns, more problems, and it's going to make us each busier. So I'm looking forward to it. I really enjoy it.
So, Ms. Farmer, were you right on board when he said we got to join? It's teamwork.
My name is Sheree Farmer. I've been encouraging Larnell to find something to actually fit his passion. And when he talked to me about joining the NAACP, I was like, put your hands to the plow. It's about time. It's a lot to talk. You do a lot of talking. And if you want to make a difference, that's how you make a difference. So I know that he's passionate. I know that he's excited about the work. I know that he's excited about the group. And so I think it was the right decision. And I see him moving forward.
I think you fit right in because you do human resources work, right?
Yes, I've been in human resources for quite some time now, so definitely able to, help out with workforce planning and those kinds of things, preparation for interviews and all of those.
Okay, good. I think the reason too that we probably are doing so well, as everyone said, is the passion that we all have for what we do, what we were already doing before we became a group together. But what I'm seeing too is a lot of issues with our mental health, substance abuse, how, Xavier may, and you can talk to this, how you may have someone in our community that reaches out about mental health, but how then it may need to go over to Mr. Farmer because of the criminal health part of it, or how you also too, Bishop, can talk about individuals that are coming out of prison, the recidivism rate and things like that. So what is it you think that the mental health and substance abuse, how well do you think that we can talk about that with the West Valley NAACP, or how can we bring a big light bulb to everybody?
Oh, that's a good question. So again, I'm a licensed substance abuse and mental health counselor here in the state of Arizona, and I've done that for over the past 10 years or so. And so what I've seen is that with mental health and substance abuse, that they're intertwined. And what I simply mean by that is that you have folks with substance abuse issues, and you have other folks with mental health issues, and then you have those that are what we call co-occurring or comorbid, meaning that they may have one or the other, and they don't know how, which one occurred first. And so until there have been clinically diagnosed, some people with with mental health disorders, they will self-medicate with street drugs in order to address symptoms that they may be having. So with the NAACP, how we can be a force with that is that we can identify ways and utilize agency and resources that are already in place and make contact with them to be another hand or be another support or be another path where we can provide different ways to help them, whether it be through resources, clothing, counseling, and to also get identification, get jobs, get clothing. There's just a myriad of different things that need to happen for an individual with either mental health or substance abuse problems. So, and the job never stops. And for some individuals, serious mental illness, they require lifelong, what we call wraparound services. So NAACP can be a strong force in just contributing and identifying in the community those individuals that need that type of help, and just be there for them and be willing to roll up our sleeves and do the work.
I know, and I work with a lot of homeless population and workforce development. So we talking as a couple at home, we have some of the same clients that run through his agency, that run through my agency. So we talk about resources and how we can help. I've actually got on the phone sometime and said, Xavier, I got a client over here. Where should I send them? What should I do? Right. They don't know. So he will help me with resources like that, because what happens is that because of a lot of mental illness, because of a lot of substance abuse, whichever route they take or how they go with that, they come to us because they've lost shelter.
Right.
And then I know losing shelter, trying to help them find work with criminal records. I think what I wanted to ask Larnell, Mr. Farmer, is that in your career with police, how, I know you probably can't give a number, but maybe percentage or thought of how many people that you interacted with that it was more of a mental health or substance abuse problem, why maybe you had to take them to jail?
It seemed like, because I've been involved in the police world for coming up almost 30 years. But it seems like now it's more of an emphasis, because it was never talked about back, early on when I first started about mental health. Okay. That was just like, you went to a call, you took care of the call.
Right.
And regardless if it was substance abuse, mental health, you just took care of the call. So it was never any of that separation or anything like that. So now to me, it seems like this is something new. And I think it's effective, and it should be something that's talked about, because you can't handle every call, or every person is not the same. Mm-hmm. Because we all hear about on the news and all this stuff about the mental health. The mental health aspect of that person that the police came to arrest. Right. And I think more emphasis is being put on that now, like I said, than it was in the past, because it needs to be. Yeah. Because there was a recent incident of a guy that was, had no clothes on. The police ended up shooting him, killing him. But it was clear that he was suffering from some mental health issues. But it's got to be something. So I do see some changes coming within the police world, where they have people, advocates, that can come in as opposed to police officers coming in and doing what police officers do. What we do is we arrest, as opposed to somebody that has your background that can come in and say, well, let's handle it this way. Be able to talk them down, and all of that stuff. So it's changing slowly.
I know I wanted to ask Bishop too, because I think about people with substance abuse, mental health, criminal records, coming to get assistance for workforce, for shelter. How well do you think, I don't know if you know, but how well do you feel that individuals that have been in prison are coming out with some skills that they're just not, put out there? I'm just out of jail, so I'm here. How is that recidivism rate looking, and what can we do to,
Well, one of the problems we have coming out of prison is that a lot of times people don't realize something, that when guys are in jail, women in jail, they have a job. They're given a job in jail. Okay. And a lot of times that you've got more than 4 or 5 years, you become very acclimated to that job and you become very good at it. A lot of programs do not transfer those skills that would ability to try to condone the understanding of what recidivism comes from. Recidivism a lot of times comes from an ill preparedness of family members willing to receive or being able to receive, because the system is either you can't live in this neighborhood, I got substance abuse and mental health issues that haven't been met, I got these other issues that's going on. So when the person comes out, a lot of times they have skills that transfer into being able to be self-sufficient. What the question is are those skills allowed to be put in place in order to have a fighting chance? So you have family members who are elderly now. You figure like in the 80s when crack was a big problem, and you got guys that got 30 years, and now they're coming out. They're in their 50s. Well, their parents are now in their 80s. So they have been 30 years without being on the street. Now they have a new concept of what has changed. The family is not prepared, or they live in housing assistance, they live in retirement homes, they can't receive their family members. So what do you do with this population? So if you got unaddressed substance abuse issues, if you got unaddressed mental health issues, if you got nowhere to go, you got no ID, what do you revert back to? Something that survival skills kick in and say. So when we talk about recidivism, what are we really talking about? So, you know, when we talk about what can we do as the West Valley NAACP to try to help foster a wraparound conversation? Well, being that we are all advocates, and we're all advocates with fields that we work in, we're able to understand what our community needs are. So when the outside people or the folks that's quote unquote in charge, they don't have the understanding that we have, because one, we see it as a community, we see it as a culture, and we see it as an organization. Therefore, we're able to step in and say, hey, what can we do to make things better? So it's education, education, education. So a lot of times it's not the recidivism that the individual is not prepared to come home. It's not the individual. The home is not prepared for that individual.
That's good. I think that's a good point for us to take a break at, where we can kind of discuss some problems, the problems that we talked about and the solutions, and maybe bring some other people in the conversation.
Cool.